Greetings, everyone from Planet Z. And I'm addressing everyone from Emperor Zurg's planet and also everyone who works for the Zildjian Symbol Company. Welcome back to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch Muppets from Space 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And this week we're joined by, if I'm not mistaken, a first-time guest on this podcast.
You are not mistaken.
Okay. And yes, guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Adam, last name blurred out by static. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. I am one of the co-hosts of Fraggle Talk Classic along with Beth and Julia. And you've got me on for maybe my favorite 2 minutes of Muppet anything. Well, okay, my favorite 30 seconds of Muppet anything.
Sure,
okay.
plus 90 seconds of something else.
Yeah, plus 90 seconds of honestly kind of cringe.
Sure.
There's a lot in there that is just very uncomfortable.
Well, I remember when I was on Fraggle Talk, I think the first time, back in season 1, you suggested, asked if you requested to come on for these minutes. And we were quite a ways away from, I don't think we hadn't even started, we were doing Christmas Carol, I think, at the time or something.
I am genuinely honored that you remembered it for that long and reached out to me. And I'm really excited to get to talk about specifically these moments and what they mean. And also all the weird stuff around them.
Sure. Thrilled to have you on the show.
Unfortunately, we gotta, it's surrounded by the other 90 seconds, but we'll get through it.
I mean, honestly, it's unfortunate that it's surrounded by the other 90 minutes, honestly.
Well,
that's right.
That's a whole other thing. So you are here with us to talk about minutes 73 and 74 of Muppets from Space, in which Gonzo's alien family shoots him out of a cannon. And yeah, that's what happens. And we begin with the alien Gonzos continuing their song, singing. It sounds like they're picking up because we got interrupted last time. They're singing Elebration.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the only song Muppets are actually singing in this movie, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
Right. And they couldn't even do an original. Come on.
Right.
Come on. I even like this song. I think it's a lovely song.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Same.
Yeah. It's
weird. It's a weird choice.
It is a weird choice and perhaps unfortunate, and but it's nice to see Muppets in a Muppet movie doing a musical number at all.
It is, and it's so clear that the costume department and the props department had a ball with this.
Oh yeah,
these costumes are amazing.
Yeah, I have in my notes that I don't know if we've talked about it already, but the sort of flashy jumpsuits on the alien Gonzos, I really like all of the costumes that they're wearing.
And they've got little capes that are attached to their wrists.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And then they cut over to the band section. Okay, here's all I saw in the band section, and y'all let me know if I miss anything. There's a giant weird stringed instrument. There's some kind of space bagpipes that also looks like a giant bong. There's a drum kit. There's a giant tuba, and then there's a steam organ looking thing.
Yeah, I think that's what we see. Yeah. The tuba, I don't think I had noticed before. Some of these look like they would not be out of place in a Dr. Seuss book. So I like all of these designs for sure. Yeah.
It does kind of feel like a Dr. Seuss book meets an Outcast video.
Could be.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
I like that. And do you have any other specific thoughts about the song Celebration as originally performed by Kool and the Gang?
I mean, I have fond memories of it. It's a song that came on a lot at parties where I was the kid who came with the adults, and so I remember being like, this song, I know this song, I can dance to this song.
Yeah. And there was a party going on right there.
There was.
So all the Muppets and the crowd of people are dancing. Bill Barretta's Alien Gonzo sings the line, "It's time to come together." The backup singers do this kind of wah, 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 wah thing. I've always liked that. The sound of it reminds me of Muppet Chickens. I think when I hear this, when I'm well, it's been a long time since I just listened to the soundtrack of this movie, but back when that was a thing that I would do, I think I always pictured Muppet chickens in the crowd doing the rah, 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 but it's not. It's Alien Gonzo's doing that.
I mean, I am grateful at least that in their cover of this, they made it a Muppet cover.
Oh yeah,
It
it sounds
feels
Muppety.
very
Yeah,
Muppety, and that feels
it
like it
feels
is
like a
well
Muppet
done.
Show number. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But Ryan, your theory about the chickens, have you considered that maybe this is why subconsciously Gonzo is attracted to chickens?
I was just thinking that.
Because his
Oh,
people make that kind of sound.
there's some kind of, yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how far we want to delve into that. He's
I think we want to
attracted
delve
to,
very far into it.
I mean, I
The
guess that
sound,
makes
it's the
sense.
sound of his culture, Ryan.
Right. Yeah, you would be
Hmm.
attracted to your own. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I don't know
scans.
why I'm being so aggressive.
Yeah, why are you being so confrontational about it, Anthony?
I don't know.
It's yeah, listeners. It's always awkward when your parents start fighting while you're in the room, and sometimes you just gotta, ride it out.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I did want to note we get just like a really uncomfortable shot of Sam the Eagle just like ogling. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. So there's this woman dancing. She's wearing a top that exposes her midriff, and
Hmm.
Sam is staring at her. I've never been certain if he is ogling her or if he's scandalized by this debauchery.
Yeah,
I
that is fair and would be more in fitting with his personality. I just wish they'd done something to make it a little clearer.
but I think I really do think the joke is both of those things. It's that thing where someone is scandalized because they're turned on, right?
Hmm.
That's how
Yeah.
I've always taken it, I don't care for this joke, obviously. Uh
No.
it also kind of implies that Sam has never seen a human torso before.
Or like maybe
You
never
know?
this close.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He's so shocked
But
by it.
Absolutely. And
but
it's just I mean, I don't know, given the current state of affairs, maybe they were trying to be satirical.
Um,
Sorry if
yeah,
that's too
I
dark.
think,
no, I kind of think you're right.
yeah,
That's what I mean. It's like this very what if what if buttoned up conservative man horny, right?
I
I think
think,
that's what it
I
is.
guess, yeah, that's essentially, I mean, it's on screen for just like a couple of seconds, but I do think that is all communicated in it.
Yeah, and
Um,
it is honestly I think quick enough that I did not remember that it was even there until I started going through these 2 minutes.
yeah,
Sure.
It just it stood out, and I remember being very uncomfortable.
yeah. Well,
Um,
her belly button is visible, which made me think for the first time, Sam is probably the kind of person who would think that it was the right decision for Barbara Eden not to be allowed to show her belly button on I Dream of Jeannie.
I agree, but I also just had the thought Sam doesn't have a belly button, so maybe he's just very confused as to what that
Oh,
weird thing is.
that's
He's just
could
fascinated
be.
by this foreign object.
Yeah,
What is
he's
this
like,
weird thing on your stomach? It's not
oh,
feathers.
so that's what those look like. Yeah. Huh. Okay. That's an intriguing new theory.
Uh, we get a shot of Miss Piggy and her cameraman dancing, and that feels like they're really just trying to remind us this Miss Piggy and her cameraman are here.
Yeah, I like that though. It looks like they're having fun.
Yeah, it's cute.
I do love Miss Piggy's dance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just a little back and forth and back and forth. And then my favorite extra in this movie. Who is this person in all silver with a silver hat just having the time of their life? Who
Well,
are they?
I think what you're who the guy you're referring to is actually Muppet performer John Kennedy, who's one of a few Muppet performers who has on-screen cameos in this sequence.
No kidding.
Yeah, it sure looks like him.
He's the one with the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, all silver with the hat.
Yeah, and in a previous episode, we had Muppet performer Peter Lenz on the podcast who mentioned that in the making of this movie, he learned that John Kennedy has some smooth dance moves. So this is where, this is what he was referring to, presumably.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah,
John
that
Kennedy's moves.
well that high kick really is pretty remarkable for
Oh
a man
yeah.
of his body type.
Sure,
You
yeah,
know?
it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, it does like your eye is drawn to him for sure in that shot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is. There's something so delightful about watching someone who is both clearly talented and also clearly just having a great time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Regardless of medium, it's just like, ah, yeah, that's good. That's what we're on this planet for.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, he's having a celebration. Uh, People are dancing, sheep are dancing, everyone's dancing.
Hmm.
Again, it's just so nice to have a musical number in a Muppet movie.
It
And
really is.
and then the lead singer calls Gonzo up on stage and all
Can I
of,
do just a quick thing before that? I had one
yeah.
note on the costume. The one part of the costumes that just kind of don't sit right with me. Some of them are wearing turbans, and
Oh, the
that just,
Gonzos, yeah.
yeah, it just feels a little appropriative. Doesn't really feel like they're there
yeah,
for intentional
Mm,
representation. Just feels a little bit more like mysticism. And
yeah. Well, and
yeah,
it certainly is in line with the cosmic fish earlier in the
right.
movie, having
yeah,
like you know convenience store Indian accents.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, like they come from another planet, therefore they seem like they're from another country besides the United States of America. Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, one of the things
it's not
that y'all
great.
have been
No.
no, it's not. One of the things y'all have been talking about in terms of just what the vibe of this movie is how 90s it is. And
Yes.
one of the things that I wish, or that I think a lot of people want to forget about the 90s is just how, like, normalized, like, this kind of casual racist misrepresentation
Hmm.
was.
Mm.
It
For
was
sure.
so much more common. There's been a really big push against that in the last couple of decades, and I think the media we have now is better for it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. A lot of big improvements in recent years. I don't think you would see, yeah, either of those things in a Muppet movie
Yeah.
today, which is better.
So yeah, then he calls. We also we get a shot of Sam the Eagle just dancing, and I like that.
Yeah, he's just joining in the fun eventually. Yeah.
Hmm.
Gonzo's friends cheer him on as he sings along with the song as the Gonzos bring him up on stage. Although here's a thought that I had: how do the alien Gonzos know the song "Celebration" by Kool and the Gang?
I mean, I assume they have been listening in on our radio waves for only the most funkadelic of vibes.
I guess so. So it's like the opening shot in Contact where you see the radio, where you hear the radio waves traveling into the far reaches of space. So
Hmm.
whatever planet these guys are from, they have received all this 70s funk music.
Yeah,
Yes, or the
not
the
that
Joe
celebration
Dante
is funk, but
the Joe Dante movie Explorers too.
they
They
made a sequel.
no Explorers one,
Oh,
Explorers only. But the whole third act is that all the aliens do is watch TV in America and imitate American television.
Yeah,
That's like how that
that's
movie ends.
yeah, that's not great.
Well, no, but I like that's what
No,
it's
but yeah,
like.
yeah. No, it
You're
is the
you're
same. You
you're apparently less fond of Explorers than I would have guessed.
no, you're making a good point that it is the same, but it's I wish you hadn't reminded me. No, I like the first two-thirds of that movie when I think everything up until they
When
actually
it's
make
an
it onto the
intriguing
spaceship.
adventure, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I don't agree. I think the ending is so weird that I enjoy it,
Oh, yeah, well, okay, that's valid.
but I get it. I mean, you're not wrong. It's a mess, but
Yeah.
I look. I respect a hard left turn for the third act of a movie, and
hmm
like ideally, it's well done. Like, Sorry to Bother You comes to mind as one of the
sure.
best hard
Oh,
left
absolutely.
turns.
Yes, yes.
But even if it's not, like, if you can commit hard enough to it, I'll respect it, even if I don't enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and as with so many Joe Dante movies, it's a big swing that doesn't really work, but I respect it anyway.
Oh, yeah, I love Joe Dante. Yeah. His as a director, as a creator.
You have a poster for his film Matinee behind your head at this moment.
It's true. Yes, it's right there. Uh, yeah, but aren't there some like wasn't there some behind the scenes drama where they ran out of money on the Explorers and that's kind of like they weren't able to do the ending the way they wanted it to.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
Apparently just like fell apart completely
yeah,
before they could finish it.
doesn't one of the kids have a line like, I don't know, guys, this isn't really working out the way I thought it would, and
Yeah.
I feel like I've
Yes.
read that they added that line as a kind of an inside reference to the fact that it wasn't working out the way that any of them thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the Explorers.
No, no, Ryan. Explorers.
Oh, it's just Explorers?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
thank
same
you.
guy who
Drop
hooked
the,
up.
it's cleaner.
Exactly.
Right.
It was the same guy, actually, the Napster guy. They were making the Explorers, and he was like, drop the.
It's
Wow,
cleaner.
that's
He
amazing.
was,
How old was he?
yeah, he
I
was
don't know. Mr.
15 or
Napster
something years
must have
old. Yeah.
been some years old.
Yeah, some years old, that's for sure. The song concludes, and the Bill Beretta alien Gonzo.
By the way, Sean Parker was 5 years old when that movie came out.
Okay.
So,
Well, what he was a marketing prodigy already.
yep.
The song concludes, and the Bill Beretta alien Gonzo says, "Yeah, the great Gonzo." And the aliens prepare a cannon. The Uber Gonzo says, Gonzo, it is time to take your righteous place amongst your brothers. By surviving and thriving alone on this alien planet, you have proven yourself audacious, courageous, and distinctly one of a kind.
I love just that instead of your rightful place, it's your righteous place.
Yeah.
I also just love that they call him up on stage. It's just like suddenly you're the star of the show, and that feels really awesome.
Yeah, and he's so excited, and his friends, the Muppets are also excited for him.
Yeah. Uh, and they start putting a helmet on him, and I love this weird, nubby looking little helmet. It's great. And he's like, we welcome you back with our most ceremonious of ceremonies.
Love that.
Gonzo,
Love that.
Yeah.
right? Gonzo's like, what's that? And he says, we gonna blow you up, baby.
Yeah, what could it be? What could the ceremony from Gonzo's home planet be? What else but
Hmm.
putting him in a cannon and blowing him up?
So
Yeah.
this to me, this is the entire movie. This
Yeah.
is the entire movie. Everything it feels like this movie is for the most part a product of just sort of the generational dilution of the Muppets being sort of handed off to, some people who really cared and some people who were corporate executives. And so it just feels diluted of the original Muppet stuff that the original Muppet show had.
Hmm.
But I feel like the two moments that really managed to capture that are the opening scene where you see just all of them living together and this moment right here.
And is
Um,
that because this is Gonzo as a daredevil like he was on the Muppet Show?
it's deeper than that. And welcome to my soapbox rabbit hole,
Mhm.
etc.
Yeah.
One of the things they all have been talking about is how, the point of this movie is to make Gonzo feel alone, which is a hard thing to do when he's got, a community. And so, his friends are suddenly kind of jerks to him in a way that gets turned up a little bit. And I think that is one of the biggest missteps of this movie. For me, the context for this moment, the lore, the setup that makes this moment work, is not the movie. It is all of the Muppets show.
Hmm.
'Cause-
It's our 23 years with Gonzo. Before this movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the point of this moment is not about someone who's being, who is alone, finding their people. It's about someone who is alone in a room full of people, not being alone.
Hmm.
Do y'all know what I mean when I
I
say
do.
alone
Oh
in a
yeah, I
room full of
totally get
people?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's surrounded by people, but he doesn't know where he fits in. He
He's
doesn't know
still,
Yeah.
yeah,
who he
it's
is. Yeah.
He's very much on his own wavelength, and I feel like the original Muppets just captured that better. People accept him, but
right.
nobody really makes the effort to try to figure out what's going on with him. They're like, all right, that's Gonzo. He just kind of does his thing. When he does all of these, stunts and things, he's on his own wavelength, and you don't see, there's a lot of talking past each other,
Hmm.
which,
Sure.
gets played for comedy a lot of times, but there's not a lot of that, like, bonding.
Yeah, well, and on the Muppet Show too, you have like Kermit yelling at him
Mhm.
when one of his stunts goes wrong,
Yeah.
or Piggy calling him a geek or whatever.
I'll be honest, I have not watched the newer Muppet Show. I
Hmm.
am a lover of the original one, and everything I've tried to watch after that just really doesn't hit the same note. And so I've dipped my toes in a little bit, and it isn't for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Well, I mean, the new Muppet
Yeah.
Show special, he does one stunt and it goes slight. I mean, it goes awry as a running gag, and then that's kind of it. It's not like anybody is mad at him or yells at him or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But like this moment of like, oh, this thing that was weird about you, this thing that was just, and not just this like weird, like your weird passion, the thing that brings you so much joy that nobody else understands. It
Yeah.
turns out that is not just a way that you don't fit. You are trying to fit in the wrong environment.
Right.
And that, like, speaking as someone who is autistic and has been building autistic community for the last decade, oh my God, it's like night and day.
Hmm.
I don't think I shouted it out at the top, but the only article I've written for Tough Pigs is about why the first time I saw this moment, I ugly cried super hard.
Hmm.
And that is a lot of what finding neurodivergent community feels like when you start finding it if you've grown up around mostly neurotypicals. I have a small Facebook group for just my autistic friends, and the banner is when you find your people, it turns out you weren't broken.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
wow.
That's that article you wrote for Tough Pigs is wonderful, by the way. If
Thank you.
listeners haven't read it, and it's part of our Tough Pigs Beacon series.
Mhm.
Remind me what the title is.
I pitched a title and they changed it. I don't actually
Oh.
know what title they
Well,
went
we
with.
will link
Okay.
to it
We'll link to
in
it in the show
the
notes.
show
Yeah,
notes of this
cool.
episode.
Um, but yeah, it. I wanna take a pause in the like the feelsy thing for a second. I have the Wikipedia that, or specifically the Muppet Wiki of Gonzo's stunts up in front of me.
Hmm.
Without
Hmm.
checking it, how many times in the history of Muppet stuff does Gonzo shoot himself out of a cannon?
Oh, I'm thinking probably not as many as we think. I'm gonna guess
Probably
maybe
not that many.
four.
Yeah, I'll
My guess is
say I'll say seven.
Two.
wow,
Two.
okay.
So it's the 2015 show and this?
Uh, the 2015 show. Oh, sorry, not counting this one. Not, I should have said. Yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
one obviously he gets shot out of a cannon. But the
Yeah.
2015 show and then one live Muppet performance at Disney World, they shoot him out of a cannon.
Huh.
Wow.
That's wild.
Which is crazy because like as soon as you see it, you're like, oh yeah, it's Gonzo. He loves getting
Yeah,
shot out
that's
of a
like
cannon.
that's one of his classic bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how did it become his classic bit if it only happens two times? No one knows.
Yeah, does that mean that
Yeah.
it never happened on the Muppet Show?
Nope.
Huh.
There's a bit with a rocket. There's a bit with him catching a cannonball.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Sure.
Because in the Muppets Inside CD-ROM game, Gonzo's minigame is you try to he's in a cannon and you try to aim him and hit him at a moving target. So that's interesting that that was like that's so associated with him
Hmm.
if he never did it on the Muppet Show. Wow. Huh.
He has a
That's
line in the original Muppet movie where he's talking about how he once got shot out of a cannon over Niagara Falls and then into Niagara Falls,
huh.
which also I cite as one of the like few times where you get to see the Muppets just like hanging out and talking about life. And Gonzo starts talking about Gonzo stuff. And
Yeah.
again, Kermit is accepting. He doesn't say Gonzo, that's weird, Gonzo, shut up. But he just sort of doesn't really key into it the same way that somebody who is from Gonzo's culture would.
Right, right. Yeah, it's so here he's discovering a community of people who are like him. Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
I
Yeah.
remember visiting an autistic friend of mine, and this was during COVID, and I went over there, we both had masks on, and she just like walked me, gave me like a slow, gentle tour of the house. I got to stand in every room that wasn't a bedroom for like a minute or so and just kind of get a vibe of it. We sat down and talked about all of our safety concerns about, what COVID and also just like where the first aid was and where the fire extinguisher was. And then we sat on two different couches that were far apart, a fan in the middle of the room, and just relaxed
Mm.
because I had been in every room. I didn't have to wonder about what was going on anywhere else. I knew that any noises I was hearing was her housemates. I
Hmm.
knew exactly what the rules and the boundaries were, and so I knew where I shouldn't go and what I shouldn't do. And that meant there was so much more of my brain that was just open and free for thinking
Hmm.
about socializing and the world.
Huh.
Love that.
Yeah, wow. Well, in this movie, The alien Gonzos point the cannon seemingly straight up. It looks like it's almost vertical.
It's darn near vertical, yeah.
Yeah. And they fire it off. Gonzo goes flying. The Muppets gaze up to the sky to watch his ascent.
Hmm.
And then we got another song playing on the soundtrack. This is It's Your Thing by the Isley Brothers. This song was released in 1969. Wikipedia says it was, quote, an artistic response to Motown chief Berry Gordy's demanding hold on his artists after the Isleys left the label in 1968. So that's
Ah,
interesting.
that's pretty fitting.
Yeah.
What's wild then is that I strongly associate it with a Burger King commercial from the 90s, which was about, customizing toppings at Burger
Oh,
King.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And every time I hear this song, that's what I think of. So
That's
that's pretty
funny.
funny that it's like a, you know, contractual
Yeah.
thumb in the eye to
Or written out of
Barry
spite,
Gordy.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It hit number one on the U.S. Billboard R&B chart, and it was ranked number 420 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Uh, and of course, we all remember that it was covered by H-Town on the soundtrack for Adam's Family Values.
Who could
Every,
forget?
who could forget? I've always liked the lyric, I can't tell you who to sock it to. I just like the sound
Yeah,
of that.
that's good. That is
Yeah.
good.
Any other thoughts on the song It's Your Thing?
I just like it. It's up there with Express Yourself for me in terms of the whole self-empowerment genre that feels very genuine and also very joyful.
Yeah.
Like it is saying like, hey, this is yours, and not in a way that is like it's your responsibility, deal with it, but like, hey,
Huh.
it's yours. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, literally do what
Yeah,
you want to do is what it says. Right.
yeah,
And yeah, it is a really good fit for this moment because Gonzo is finding his thing.
Yeah, this is his thing,
he's doing what he wants to do.
and
Yeah,
no one can tell him who to sock it to.
Who to sock it to?
exactly.
Yeah. I think the shot looks really good also for a 90s movie.
It does. Yes, the shot of Gonzo flying up into the air looks really good. He's laughing maniacally. He shouts, Arriba! I love these people. He reaches the apex of his ascent, then he does a backflip and starts
Mm-hmm.
heading back toward the ground.
An
That's where this
arms
clip ends.
spread black flip even.
Yeah,
Yeah, we leave Gonzo in midair when
Yeah,
we
yes,
we
cut off
do.
this clip, which is nice.
yeah.
He's gonna hang.
So
He's gonna hang out there all week.
he'll just be suspended. Yep, until next week. So yeah, that is where this clip ends. Anything else on these 2 minutes, Adam? Starting with you.
I just there is a difference I think between being accepted and being welcomed.
Hmm.
Like it is okay that you are here versus please join us, come here, be a part of this. And I mean, I feel like I said my piece, and I honestly think I said it better in the article when I had a chance to, say a thing and then look at it on words and edit it to make it sound cooler.
No, no, I think that was very good.
But it truly, like, this to me feels like a culmination of like 23 years of building up of this character and seeing that reveal, like, one of the things that I love about Fraggle Rock as we've been reviewing it on Fraggle Talk Classic is just there's so much intention put into this show,
Hmm.
right? They've said this is the show that we want to make to bring about world peace, and it shows. There's a lot of thought that goes into that. And I feel like most of this movie is missing that level of intention and care. But this moment, this reveal, feels like it's got just that, like, that's peak. That is the exact kind of thing that you would expect from the Muppets being, and just those studios in general and those writers being able to sum up this complex social phenomenon and the complex emotions attached to it, along with all the just joyous release that comes from it.
Yeah, it's interesting that there seem to be so many 90s kids who this was their first Muppet movie, so they didn't have the context of 23 years of Gonzo before this, but
Hmm.
they still, had like a lot of people really love this movie who grow up with it. So there's still something there that they were able to latch onto.
I mean, and I think like I said, I think the quality is definitely diluted, but that doesn't mean that it's not gone. I
Sure.
think they do a fantastic job of making it clear that Gonzo is just on his own wavelength and doing his own things for his own reasons. Like that, the difference in neurotype, for lack of a better term, is incredibly clear in just the body language and the way that he speaks and the things that he reaches for. I
Hmm.
just think it's heavy-handed in, enunciating that the way that this movie tries to.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, and Gonzo is just a lovable character anyway, so we're rooting
Oh
for
yeah.
him.
Yeah. And it's nice to see, a lot of times rooting for him means, hey, I hope you either do this stunt without getting hurt or do this stunt and get hurt because we know you like that.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And it's nice to see that be like, hey, also, what if you found your people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what if you realize that you already had your people all along? Spoilers for future minutes.
I mean, that's my other biggest complaint
Oh,
about this
really?
movie. I think the two biggest missteps that this movie takes are one, like I said, I think it's really heavy-handed with trying to show that Gonzo doesn't fit in with the Muppets. I think it could have taken a much gentler and subtler approach with more respect for the audience. And two, why stay? At least go hang out with your alien friends for a bit and then come back. Like, go spend a year with your people bouncing around planets and stuff.
That's a good point. He could have just gone on a trip with them and then come back.
It just feels so out of character, especially since they wrote this movie to have all of the Muppets be kind of jerks to him. Just like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, you found your people. Do you know how few allistic people I hang out with these days? It's some of them. There's definitely some. Hey, I have allistic friends. I can say that. It's okay. Um, no, nothing. No, I can't. No, never mind.
No,
It's
no,
okay.
go keep
You got
No,
going,
one,
so,
Jay.
keep going.
yeah, no, we're
Yeah,
I was I was going
we're
I
I
was
just
going
thought you
for
were just
the
rolling.
yeah, we're
I
just
was I
letting
was
you
going for the joke, the like, oh, I have minority friend. It's okay. I can say
ah
that.
Yeah,
ah
right. Sure.
Um, but like the allistic friends that I do have demonstrated the ability to build the bridge across that neurotype with me, and it's really
Sure.
clear,
hmm
even if you just look at this movie, that most of the Muppets don't care enough to do that.
Right. As presented in this movie is what you're
It's
saying.
yeah,
Yes,
very
yes.
much
Yeah, I
so.
agree.
I mean,
I
I guess
agree.
really Kermit is the only one who kind
Hmm.
of yeah, makes an effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's really yeah, that's kind of it. Um yeah, huh. Yeah, that's all really interesting. As we like to say around here, you've given us a lot to think about.
Hey, do y'all have any final thoughts on these 2 minutes?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask Anthony next.
We got all my notes. I didn't have anything else.
Okay. I have one listener comment sign on the beach. Jeff Hamill on Facebook brought our attention to the name of the weapon that Singer and Bobo as Rentro bring with them to Cape Doom. They prepare the subatomic neutro destabilizer. Jeff pointed out the Muppets are going to the beach, and the bad guys get the SAND.
Ha!
Now,
I know. I saw
I,
that post too, and I'm just like,
yeah, I could not believe that none of us noticed that. I
none
don't
of us thought of
know.
it. Yeah,
I mean, you got to think it's intentional, right? I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
must be.
Yeah, because when you're writing the name of a big weapon with a long name, you're gonna probably think about what the acronym would be or the
Oh, you
abbreviation. So
gotta. If you don't, the
yeah,
fans will.
so that's cool.
Right.
And then just a little screenplay draft
I was gonna ask
note.
about the screenplay on that because that's been one of my favorite parts of listening through the season is hearing all the different variations of it. I love that.
Oh, well, yeah, there's not a lot here, but in the 2/27/1997 draft, instead of shooting Gonzo out of a cannon, the Aliens production number ends with something different. The Uber Gonzo says, "Now for the grand finale, join us if thee will in the Gonzo's signature vaudeville act, eating a tire to music." And several dozen rubber tires are released at the top of the stairs of the ship. They bounce down to the Gonzos and they all sing another song while eating the tires.
Now that is a thing that he did do on the Muppet Show.
Yes. So I think that would have been fun for Muppet fans who know that to be a Gonzo thing, specifically, but I don't know. I think shooting him out of a cannon is more dramatic, more cinematic, I guess.
It also just feels right.
Yeah.
Like it hits so many of the things we know he likes. We know he likes falling from high places. We know he likes explosions and being blown up. We know he loves cannons.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this was the right decision. Oh, and then after the song is over, Gonzo introduces the aliens to the Muppets and to the scientist Maggie Trengale and to John and Barbara Mallet, but none of them are in the movie, so that doesn't. Well, the Muppets are in the movie, but
Yeah.
the humans are not in the movie, so that doesn't happen.
Hmm.
Right?
So yeah. All right, Adam, we are asking all of our guests this season two questions. The first one
Two
being
questions.
two questions. The first one being, what is your history with this movie?
Um, so this is my parents, specifically my mother, because she was a puppeteer, were huge Muppet fans. And so they made sure that I grew up on the Muppets. We had those little VHS tapes that had like 3 episodes of the original Muppet Show on
Oh
them,
yeah.
and we'd watch them all the
Time
time.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is actually, Gonzo is the first Muppet character that I remember being like, this, I like this. And it was the third one, and it's that bit at the end where he comes out and blows the trumpet, and something weird happens every time.
Hmm.
There's the first one, I think he like blows the trumpet and it like squirts water, and then one he blows the trumpet and like it lights up. But the third one, he blows the trumpet and it rings like a telephone, and he kind of looks at it and it rings again, and he just answers it and just
Yeah.
starts talking to it and just walks off camera like he's on the phone. And I remember being like 8 or 9 and being like, this guy's funny. This guy knows comedy. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
Um, and we got to watch, we watched the original Muppet movie, we watched The Great Muppet Caper, but I remember seeing this, like the advertisement for this at the silver screen, and I don't remember how this happened just at all, but I remember someone telling me, oh, like, no, that one's scary.
Hmm.
It's entirely like I was looking back at this memory and being like, how did that happen actually? Because I just kind of, a grown up said a thing and I was young, so I assumed it was true and was like, I better avoid that one.
I guess
Um,
there are some intense parts, like the rat experimentation, and yeah, there are a few parts, like yeah, Phil Van Neuter about to suck out Gonzo's brain, but huh, yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting.
it's also possible my mom just saw it and didn't like it and didn't want me to watch it, so she told
Didn't
me it
want
was
you to,
scary
yeah,
because she knew that
Yeah,
would mean I
sure.
wouldn't watch it.
yeah,
But
Sure.
I watched this one as an adult. Um,
okay,
I realized that because I had, an Apple TV account, I could just watch this movie.
hmm.
And so as an adult, like a couple years back, I just was like, ah, I got an evening free. Yeah, let's check it out. They made one about Gonzo. I like Gonzo.
Wow, okay. So you immediately took to this one scene then, but it sounds like you weren't like super impressed with the rest of the movie.
Well, so here's the thing. It starts off so strong.
Yes, definitely.
It
I have
starts off
the same
so
impression every
strong.
single time I watch it.
I'm like, yeah, this rules. And then
Yeah.
there's just that like ebbing and that ebbing,
Yes.
and they're like, and like, Bobo's great, and like the bit with Animal and Kathy Griffith is great, and then it's just sort of like, well, and I remember being at like a 2/3 of the way through and being like, I guess I'll see how this ends. Whatever.
Hmm.
They've done the will they or won't they thing. The Riverdale kids showed up. I don't really whatever.
Yeah.
And then once my expectations had been sufficiently lowered, this moment happened and just blew me out of the water.
Okay. Wow,
I
nice.
love that. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
love that.
It redeemed the rest of the movie for you,
I mean, it made
more or
it worth
less.
watching. I don't know if redeemed is the verb I would
Okay.
choose.
Okay.
But it made it go from a like, oh wow, that was not worth the time to I'm glad I watched that.
Okay, very good. And then our second question is, what is your favorite sci-fi movie or TV show or other thing?
So I thought about this a lot, actually. Um, and I have a couple of ones that I want to touch on. The first,
Hmm.
if we're talking about just like specifically movie, Serenity,
Okay.
the Firefly movie, it's just so good. It hits so many different things, and it does, I think, what sci-fi should do incredibly well, which is explore things the scope of which we are not capable of understanding, but in a way that is understandable because it's done through the lens of characters that we can relate to and care about.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Great.
Um, I'm also a huge Rick and Morty fan. Not a big fan of the fan base, but I really appreciate that show,
Sure.
especially season. They do stuff with sci-fi that I also think should be done with sci-fi. Like I remember watching episode 2, and like they're doing an Inception spoof, and they're going into dreams, and they're going into the dreams of the people in the dreams, and they wind up getting to a like Freddy Krueger knockoff and realizing he can chase them through dreams, and so they're screwed. And then they
Hmm.
like wait till he goes to sleep, and they go into his dream, and he's like having an I'm scared and insecure in high school dream. And so they stand up to his mean teacher and give him a pair of pants and like help heal that trauma loop in this figment of someone's dream. And just
Hmm.
that ability to use this fantastical, just wild science thing to find the human moment and make that accessible.
Huh. Yeah.
There's an episode in season 8 where like both Beths, because there's two now, spoilers I guess, take turns going back to being 10 years old, and it's a trip. It's an absolute trip to be like, oh yeah, this is what like processing your childhood trauma looks like, but with sci-fi.
Are they reverting back to being a 10-year-old, or are they like actually going back and re-experiencing their...
They are reverting back to being a 10-year-old with a
Okay.
de-aging machine.
Huh.
It's wild and beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, I want to touch briefly on the Saga series, if y'all have read Saga.
Oh, the comics?
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
just because I don't think anything like one of the things I think sci-fi is incredibly good for is just talking about war
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
like
Sure.
almost eldritch nature of it, of like here is this giant thing that is so big you cannot comprehend it that could wipe you out at a moment's notice. Topical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow, a little too topical maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the first story arc of Saga years ago, and I always have meant to read more of it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah. I read it up through when did Vaughn took like 4 or 5 years off.
Yeah.
I never resumed it after that. So I've read it up through number 50,
Hmm.
Yeah.
50-ish. Is that about
Mhm.
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't
So I
know.
read that. And then when it came back, I haven't read any of the newer ones.
Yeah, I need to pick it up again. But I just
It's
the
good.
sheer just like finding all the different people whose lives have been affected by this war, even though they're not on any of the sides. Um, but and I loved this question because it got me thinking like, how did I get into sci-fi?
Hmm.
Like, was it Heinlein? No. Was it Bradbury? No. It was Bruce Coville's Book of Aliens.
Yeah, I love it. Love that.
Ah.
They're so good. I got it. I rebought it, and it's just these beautiful little short stories about the weird, wonderful existence of trying to connect with someone who is so different from you and what that looks like.
That's
It's
awesome.
they're so good. I highly recommend all if you any Bruce Coville's book of blank, get it. It's amazing.
Sure.
Cool.
Awesome. I don't think I've ever actually read that series. I read like My Teacher's an Alien and all
Those are the
those.
ones I've read,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And the AI gang. I read a bunch of those.
Hmm.
Yeah. Bruce Coville, it was Book of Monsters and then Book of Aliens and then Book of Ghosts and then he had sequels and it's just short stories for kids that are, of a genre but are, accessible to kids. He pulls from a bunch of different authors. Jane Yolen does a bunch of them.
Hmm.
But they're all amazing. The Book of Ghosts has these just like really beautiful, sad, kind of silly stories. And like the Book of Aliens, I remember there's a bit where it's these two kids who are just kind of figuring out how to maybe be friends with each other. And they find this thing in a pond and it like holds onto them for a little bit and is clearly trying to communicate, and they're talking about it afterwards, and the boy is like, yeah, it sounded like music, and I tried to like add my own music to it, and the girl's like, no, like I could see these points of light, and it was like I was made of points of light. And so she starts drawing it out, and he starts trying to play it on the guitar. And her mom comes by and is like, oh, you're drawing the constellations. Oh, that's cool.
Huh.
Awesome. That rules. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's cool.
You've talked me into it. I just was checking to see if I have it in my library collection at school, and I do not. But I should seek it out for sure.
Yeah.
Especially as like an elementary school librarian, highly recommend all of them. There's like 10 or 12 Bruce Coville's Book of Blank.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Thank
yeah.
you for the recommendation.
You're so welcome.
So because Ryan is keeping stats, I'll be the one to ask. Which is your? We need one answer to put on the spreadsheet.
Well,
for what
we have had some where I just like something and something else as the answer, so that's also acceptable.
Then it's gonna have to be Bruce Coville's Book of Aliens.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
That rules.
I'll
That
put
rules.
that one on the list. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. And then with that, we will wrap things up for this week. As always, we want to thank Morgan Davy for our show's logo and Jordan Brandon for our theme song. Listeners, you can find Tough Pigs on the internet at toughpigs.com. We're all over social media, as well as TeePublic, where you can buy a Bill Has Ears t-shirt. You can email us at movinrightalong@toughpigs.com. You can chat with other Muppet nerds on the Tough Pigs Discord server. Anthony is on Blue Sky at Durwood Clapper. I'm on Blue Sky at Me Ryan Rowe. Anthony is on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist, and I'm on Letterboxd at Movies Are Neat. Adam, thank you once again for joining us. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me. And be sure, if you enjoyed any of the weird stuff I'm spouting, to check out Fraggle Talk Classic. We're going through every episode of Fraggle Rock. It is the one Henson thing that I had never even touched, and so I'm going into it blind. And it is just an incredible show, and I really enjoy the discussions that we've had. And we have had your wonderful podcast hosts on.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, we've both been on a couple of times each, I think, right? Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good, like, it works so well to have multiple hosts who are approaching it from different experience levels with the series, because there's just so much going on in Fraggle Rock. So
Well, and like I didn't know you before the first time I went on your podcast, Adam.
Yeah.
And it has been such a joy to listen to that show and hear your journey of like just falling in love with Fraggle Rock.
It's so good.
yeah,
It makes me so happy that you love it so much. Like,
I really
because
do.
it would have been very easy for the person in your position to be like, okay, it's some kids show from the 80s, who cares?
I mean, you have worked with elementary schoolers. You have taught this kind of thing. You know what sorts of things to look for there.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Fraggle Rock is full of them.
Yeah, you're right. That's the thing.
yeah.
But it's been so fun to hear you discover it,
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has been a joy. Yeah, the structure of that I think is genius, and I believe that was Beth's call. She is also just incredibly brilliant on that. And she has also been on this podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As has
Julia has too.
As has Julia.
And
Yes, it's true.
and past and future guests both, I'm sure.
Right. Right. So yeah, everybody go listen to Fraggle Talk Classic. And everybody also tell everyone you know to listen to this show. And the next time your family is loading you into a cannon to fire you into the sky, wait, I did that out of order. I should have said
Make
that.
sure you wear your helmet.
Yes, that's what I should say. Make sure you wear your helmet. And also,
Great, there it is.
And also join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. It's your thing. Do what you want to do.
None of us, not God, not the president, not your boss, none of us can tell you who to sock it to.